Hi friends, I'm so glad you made it to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. I'm hoping maybe we can find a little bit of normalcy and a bit of crazy day. I'll try to post every day around 10 o'clock so that if you're starting your schoolwork or you're working with someone at home, you can start then too. If not, the video will be there forever. I'm not going to take it down. So whenever you do your work, it'll be there too. I'm going to start by reading one of our favorites, of course. We are on book number 3 in My Weird School Days by Dan Gutman. This one's called Mr. Granite is from Another Planet. If you're working along with me and you want to take some notes like we would in book club or be working while we're doing this, you would also need this page here. Yours might be a little shorter than mine, and it's probably in that red folder. If you don't have this paper, feel free to get out your own piece of paper and make notes. Or if you have Post-it notes at home, which we all know we love, you can use some Post-its and maybe keep them on your kitchen table or on a wall or someplace special that mom or dad says is okay. And that's how you can keep your notes. And those are the pictures you can send me to prove that you did your work today, okay? So I'm going to try and read 2 chapters a day. If you need to, you can always pause me and come back to me later. No big deal. I also just want to note that these books are written by a man named Dan Gutman. And he is so awesome. He has been all over social media the last couple of days letting everyone know that if you want to read his books via social media, he is allowing that, and it's not going to be a copyright issue, which is really cool of him. Also, if you have Facebook, he is doing a live feed of his books, reading his books. He's reading different books than us, so you could check that out too. Maybe you could get a double dose of Dan in the next couple of days if that's something you're into. Okay, so I'm going to read it. Mr. Granite is from Another Planet. There's our friend Arlo. See him there? All right. The boringest, yes, that's the word, boringest store in the world. My name is AJ, and I hate school. Do you know which months are the best months of the year? July and August, of course, because there's no school over the summer. Yay! The only problem is that now it's back to September. Boo! Bummer after the summer. School starts tomorrow, so my mom said we had to go to the store called Staples to buy some back-to-school supplies. Ugh! Staples is the most boringest store in the history of the world. They don't sell video games or toys or any cool stuff. They just sell pens and pencils and ultra boring junk like that. My mom had a list of things that I had to get for 3rd grade. After we found the boring book covers and the boring binders, the boring colored pencils, and the boring glue sticks, I wanted to get a pen with a laser beam in it. Laser beams are so cool. I saw this movie where they use the laser beam to kill aliens from outer space, but they don't sell those kinds of pens like that at Staples. But they do have a cool one, a copy machine. Copy machines are cool because you can put your head on the glass and make a funny picture of your face. It only costs 8 cents for you to do that. But you have to be sure to close your eyes or you'll go blind. Remember sometimes we talk about Arlo and how he thinks about things that are not true? I mean, I really wouldn't photocopy your face, but if you did, maybe you should close your eyes. I stuck my head in the copy machine and I closed my eyes just to be sure. I was reaching for the start button when I heard the most horrible sound in the history of the world. Hi, Arlo. Ugh. It was Andrea Young, this annoying girl in my class with curly brown hair. I hate her. Andrea calls me by my real name because she knows that I don't like it. I took my head off the copy machine. Andrea was with her mom, who looks just like Andrea, but she has wrinkles. Are you buying back to school supplies too, Arlo? Andrea asked. No, I said. I'm skydiving. When someone asks you a dumb question, you should always give them a dumb answer because that's like the first rule of being a kid. I would never put my face in a copy machine, said Andrea. Why not? I said. Because I'm one of a kind, Andrea said. You should put your face in a paper shredder instead, I suggested. Andrea rolled her eyes. Why can't a copy machine just fall on her head? My mom and Andrea's mom were talking about the weather. Grown-ups are really interested in the weather, but really nobody knows why. So I was forced to talk to Andrea. Which do you like better, Arlo? Andrea asked. This notebook with a picture of kittens on it, or this one with the elephants on it? Do they have a notebook with a picture of elephants stomping on those kittens? I asked nicely. Andrea rolled her eyes again. Our mom said that we could play around in the office chairs for a few minutes while they talked about the weather. Let's pretend we're grown-ups working in a real office, Andrea said. I sat at one of the desks and picked up a fake telephone. Hello, please send over $1 million, I barked in the phone. Now! Where's my coffee? Andrea shouted. I'll just die if I don't have any coffee again. You're fired, I barked again. Get out. Pretending to be a grown-up is very fun. I need to file some reports, Andrea said. She rolled her chair over to a big filing cabinet. When she pulled it open, the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. A head popped out. Good day, mates, the head said. Ah! We all screamed. It was Mr. Granite, our new third grade teacher. That's pretty strange, don't you think? It's interesting. So that's the end of chapter number 1. At this point, you should probably pause the video and see if there's anything on this paper that you can fill out. I think that we definitely might know so far where the setting of the story is, right? Remember, the setting of the story is where the story takes place. Where are they right now? We also can talk about some of the main characters in the story. Of course, Arlo is the it character, but who else have we talked about so far that seems like he or she is going to be a big deal in the story? Right now, I think that's all that we've hit. So, if you want, take a second, pause, and then come back to me and we'll read chapter number 2 together. Chapter number 2 is called We Want Chocolate Cake. The first day of school is the worst of the year, but the nice thing is that third graders are allowed to ride their bikes to school. I rode mine with my friends Ryan and Michael. After we locked our bikes to the bike rack, we were told to go to the all-purpose room for an assembly. The teachers were sitting on the stage and they were all wearing green shirts that said P.A.L. like pal. Look. Mr. Cutts, our principal, was up there too. He has no hair at all. I mean, none. Mr. Klutz was wearing a green shirt too, and his head was even painted green. Mr. Klutz is nuts. Is it St. Patrick's Day? I asked Neil Crouch, who we call Nude Kid, even though he actually does wear clothes. St. Patrick's Day is in March, you dumbhead, said Neil. So is your face, I replied. After we finished pledging the allegiance, Mr. Klutz went on to the microphone. Welcome back to elementary school, he announced. I want to introduce the new members of our staff. This is Mrs. Jaffe, our vice principal. This is Mr. Brad, our new school counselor. And over here is our new third grade teacher, Mr. Granite. The three of them stood up and everyone clapped. I waved to Mr. Granite. I knew he was going to be my third grade teacher because I'd met him on the beach over the summer. And I even saw him yesterday at Staples, remember? We're wearing green today to show that elementary school cares about the environment, said Mr. Klutz. This year we're going to use less energy, create less waste, and help the planet. The program will be under Mr. Granite's supervision. Remember in class when we talked about foreshadowing? Remember that big giant word means that sometimes they give us little secrets in the beginning of the book that we try to remember in our head for later on. I have a feeling that might mean something. Let's keep it in our brain for later. Wow, I whispered to Ryan. Mr. Granite has supervision. That means he can see through walls. You returning students know I like to challenge you, Mr. Klutz continued. So here's a new challenge. If elementary school is named the greenest school in the county for the month of September, we'll have an all-you-can-eat chocolate cake party. Yay! Everyone went crazy because we all love chocolate cake. That's the first rule of being a kid, you know. Okay, that's the end of chapter number 2. We'll start chapter number 3 tomorrow. If you have any thoughts or anything you want to write down, you can always make your post-its. You can use words like I think or maybe foreshadowing, because that's a great word. You can also make guesses or prediction about what's going to happen in the story. Do you think the children are going to be successful with this green project? Do you think perhaps that Mr. Granite is from another planet? Is that possible? These are all things that you could write down or make guesses or predictions about, and then we'll check about them along the way. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.